So speak life, when the sun won't shine and you don't know why. Look into the eyes of the broken hearted. Watch them come alive as soon as you speak hope. You speak love, you speak life.
This is the day the Lord has made. I hope you are rejoicing. I hope you feel like rejoicing. Hi, and welcome to Dealing with Life. Really glad to have you along. I'm Tom Baker, author of One Dog's Faith, a book about life, trust, and worry through the eyes of a dog. This show airs every single week at this time. If you've been struggling or know somebody who has, then I pray that this show touches you in some way. Nobody is immune to struggle and challenges. It's a part of life, but if we embrace it, it's how we learn and how we grow. Why do we do this? I want to make sure you understand that you're not alone and that God is really there to not only hold your hand, but to help you through it and to help you grow with it. Every week we talk with people who deal with struggle. We talk with people who have found victory and the deepened faith through their struggle, and we also talk with people who have been called to help others with struggle. And that's who we have with us today. Kelle Schultz, President, CEO of the Knox County Habitat for Humanity. Nice to have you along.
Thank you, Tom. I'm so glad to be here. I'm glad you invited me.
Well, Habitat has always been such a powerful force in helping people in this area and all across the country.
Actually, it's all across the world.
Is it now?
Habitat for Humanity is actually, we're in 81 countries. Can you believe it?
No.
And it operates the same basic principles, the same basic Christian principles all across the 81 countries, but we have to do it differently, of course.
Sure.
In certain areas. But those three criteria is a need for housing, the ability to pay, because we're not giving anything away.
Right.
And then thirdly, a willingness to partner. And that covers a really pretty broad range.
So it's always about housing.
Always about housing. Well, that is the basic foundation, so to speak, of what it is that we're doing.
Okay.
When you get into other countries, there is much more support because housing is just one of the issues that has to be repaired for really to have some life change. So there's other entities that are involved with that. And we're even seeing some of that in the States. You know, housing is a great first step, but you also have to have a job. You have to have some emotional security. You have to have a support system around you. There's a lot of other things truly to have success.
Right. You don't just say, here's keys to this house. Have at it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that in Knoxville, that's what we're so proud of with our program, is that the house is really the end product. What we're working so hard on the front end is really to talk about and to educate folks on life struggles and challenges, as you said.
Right.
It's about education and training. And so for families that partner with us, we're going to work with them for about a year before we actually start construction on their home.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a whole learning opportunity.
It is a
and
whole
life
program.
change.
Exactly. With really the basis of that being money. You know, money can do some wonderful things and it can also do some horrible things.
Yes.
And once people get a hold of money, you really need to be able to be very aware of what you have and to make real conscious decisions. So our homeowners attend a budget class once a week for a year, and that is mandatory. And it's very simple.
Wow. I could use that.
Well, a lot of people could use it. Our country could use it.
Sure.
But it's about, really an envelope system, keeping track of your receipts, seeing how much money you have come in, how much money goes out, being mindful that before you go purchase something, can you actually afford it? Mm-hmm. We live on a country of credit.
Yes.
Everybody does.
Yes. The American way.
Exactly. So we want to teach and educate folks that just because you buy it on credit doesn't mean it's free. You still got to pay for it.
Yeah.
So it really is about, you've got this amount of money coming in, you're an adult, you've got children, you are head of your family. So you get to make choice, but just make sure you're aware of the choices you're making.
Okay.
Financially.
Okay. So globally, how long has Habitat been around?
Habitat was started in 1976 by Millard and Linda Fuller.
local. And where was that?
They actually were in Americus, Georgia. Habitat was started in partnership with Koinonia Farms, and that was back in the 60s. And Clarence Jordan, I'm not sure if you're familiar, he wrote the Cotton Patch Gospels. That's kind of what he's known for. But he had a farm there called Koinonia, and it was a community living farm. And that's where Linda and Millard ended up once they decided they were going to go on a journey together as a family to see what life was all about. And that's where they ended up. So they started working with him. And one of the things he was doing was in southern Georgia was going in and working with families to uplift their housing conditions. So it started in Koinonia, and it just kind of grew from there. And Americus is right down the street from Koinonia.
Wow.
So that's Millard and Linda started Habitat for Humanity in 1976 there.
Okay. So as long as we're talking about history, let's talk about Kelle's history. How long have you been with them?
Well, I started when I was really young, Tom. I was one of those prodigies. Yeah. I have been with Knoxville.
Started at age 3.
Exactly. I've been with Knoxville Habitat for Humanity since 1994.
Wow.
So it's been a while. And I used to tell everybody my butt has been in the same chair for all those years. But a couple of years ago, I got a new chair. So I can't say that anymore.
In the same room.
In the same room, exactly.
Well, but you must be doing something right.
Well, God's doing it. You know,
go.
I mean, He's working through me. Sometimes it is a struggle because I fight back. Mm-hmm. Let me just tell you who wins. It's not me. But there have been times there where I'm like, I am not sure this is, what I want to do. I mean, growth spurts, and you have to grow with it. And that's
the challenges of every day, and every day's not perfect, and every day's not beautiful, but you see the end results so often, and that's got to be uplifting.
Well, it's we were talking earlier. It's about people, and you cannot put people in a box. You can't put God's mission in a box, and you want to try to do that because you want to try to do plans. And so you do a great plan and you map it all out, and the next thing you know, you're not even on the same page. And you're like, how did I do that?
Where did that come from?
Exactly. I mean, that's the tough thing. Growing people is probably the hardest thing I think there is out there.
Yeah.
And pulling a cohesive team together that want to work together and have a good culture. And we've had some good cultures in our organization. We've had some bad ones, and
very typical of what you call an organization.
Exactly.
People don't always play well together.
Exactly, but that's a challenge. But it works, and my thing is, as long as everybody's bringing something to the table, we can agree to disagree. Yeah. And if everybody's bringing something, then pretty much nothing's going to surprise us.
Yeah, it's going to work eventually.
Eventually,
and
yes.
You always keep God in the center of
exactly.
it. So absolutely. And I think what's got to be incredible for you is the success stories and seeing people learn and grow through this process, coming in desperate and coming out victorious.
It's interesting you say that, Tom, because in the early years, that was very much it. I was very hands-on with the families. There was 4 of us.
Okay.
And so, you worked out there. I don't hammer very well, but I did my part.
I do. I usually hit my finger, but...
Well, you're even a step ahead of me. I usually tried to do my part, but you worked with families, and you saw the success they had. As my role has changed in the organization, now really my customer are the staff that work for me.
Okay.
Their customer are the families that we partner with, or the donors, or the banks, or whatever. I mean, it's a business. It's a ministry business.
Right.
And so we have to make sure we follow all the rules. That's very, very important to me, that there is transparency and clarity in everything we do.
Sure, it has to be.
And we honor our donors and what their wishes are. That's real important. And that we honor the families, that we make a commitment to them. We're asking them to step up, commit, and be in education classes for a year. We're asking that commitment. So we've also got to commit to them. And it truly is a partnership.
Yeah. And that's work. That's coordination.
It's hard work.
Just I'm sure it changes every day, but on an average basis, how many volunteers do you deal with?
We've got so many different volunteer opportunities. Most folks think that it's raising a wall and hammering
and painting or whatever.
And that's a large part of it. That's the most visible. But we also have volunteers that teach the budget classes and the
Oh, yeah.
construction and
Yeah.
minor home repair classes and the landscaping classes and the how to be a good neighbor classes, all the education classes for the families.
How to be a good neighbor.
How to be a good neighbor.
You should have that just right in the middle of town and go, everybody needs this class.
Well, again, we can offer it. We'll see who shows up, you know. But the thing is, we offer 167 different classroom opportunities in a year, and those are all volunteer-led.
Wow.
And then we also have a restore. It's a thrift store with
Yes,
an
we go
emphasis
there
on
often.
construction.
Love that place.
Large part of that's volunteer run. So we also have volunteers there, well as the volunteers that work with us on Saturdays through our Covenant Partners, which are the businesses or organizations that provide money to sponsor a house.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have crew leaders and house leaders and Tuesday, Thursday volunteers that really are the backbone of our work. And they are the teams that we pay with hugs, but are there every Tuesday and Thursday and really lead the other volunteers that come out.
Yeah.
I would say during a week time with all of those opportunities, we'll have 200 volunteers a week.
Goodness.
That are just really the basic foundation volunteers. They aren't the Saturday build volunteers.
Okay. So there's a lot of coordination. You have volunteers to take care of the volunteers.
Yes.
I'm
yes.
sure.
And then our board of directors is all volunteers, the
Okay.
leadership of the organization.
Okay. Wow. It's always been mind-boggling to me to see how that all goes together. So the question I have for you is, what's your passion? What drives you in this? I know it's work. I know it's a job, but there's got to be passion involved with this.
My dad was a hard worker.
Okay.
We had our struggles when we were younger. A lot of that's because he was working and he wasn't around. But my dad was a really, really hard worker, and he didn't take anything from anybody without working hard. Now, I don't totally agree with that because I think there are some folks out there that need to, want to help, and
Sure.
that's just their mojo, and let's support that. And there are times you need help. But he was a hard worker.
He weren't no freeloader.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah.
And my passion is that I love being around people who want to work hard.
Wow.
The families who partner with us, they want to make a difference. Our program isn't for wimps. There is nothing wimpy about it.
Yeah.
It is pretty much for that first year. It's a part-time job on top of working and taking care of your kids and everything. I mean, the amount of asks that we put out there to our partners, families that partner with us, is a lot.
Yeah.
And so they have to work hard. The board works really hard to help us get the donations and to get the folks that want to be part of things. The staff works really hard. My passion is seeing people who want to work hard and change their own life.
Nice.
If you work hard and change your own life, you're going to change the lives of others.
Yeah.
But I think we've got too many people that think things should be handed to them or is expected.
Yeah,
And
this society is really trying to promote that.
I think, and that's commentary by me. I mean, I think hard work is something that you really want to do. It doesn't come easy. And I think that there can be real change in that. We have a lot of folks who'll come out and, they'll call. I get these calls. I don't get them as much anymore. But folks would come out and say, I want to come volunteer with you because I want to help somebody. Mm-hmm. We're like, great, come on. I guarantee you at the end of that day, if you were to go ask them, they would probably say, it helped me more than it helped anybody else.
Absolutely. I think that's what volunteering is all about. You go in thinking you're going to really help somebody, and you come out of it starry-eyed.
That's it, Tom. And people that say to me, I don't have enough time, or I've got kids I have to run somewhere, or I've got parents that take time. They do, but you have to find the time. If it's important to you to do something, it absolutely will change your life, and it becomes fun and not work in that instance.
Wow. Kelle Schultz, President, CEO of Habitat for Humanity, Knox County. We're going to take a break and we're going to talk a lot more about habitat and how important it is and how people can get involved. You're listening to Dealing with Life. I'm Tom Baker, author of One Dog's Faith, and we will talk more in just a minute.
You speak life. Oh, 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 oh. You speak life. God is on the move, hallelujah. God is on the move today.
This is Dealing with Life. I'm Tom Baker, author of One Dog's Faith. So happy you're with us. We are talking today with Kelle Schultz. Kelle Schultz is President, CEO of the Knox County Habitat for Humanity. What a terrific organization, and glad you're here with us.
Thank you.
Whenever I think of Habitat, and I volunteered for Habitat, and I think it's just terrific, and I know the story. One word that always pops up with Habitat for Humanity is sweat equity. And some people go, huh? Tell us what sweat equity is in the habitat world.
There's a lot of people that go, huh? Sweat equity was actually a word that was coined by our founder, Millard Fuller. And when he started looking at putting together a program, he went to the Bible. And essentially it says in the Bible, if you're going to lend money to a poor person, don't charge interest to allow them to catch up. Now I'm paraphrasing.
Sure.
But that was kind of the basis for Habitat for Humanity and how it got started. But there has to be a commitment part somewhere in that. Again, if you just give it, people take it.
Well, yeah, and so it's not appreciated.
Yeah, there has to be a commitment part. So sweat equity is the commitment part for us. And that's what makes us different from any other housing entity, and pretty much in Knoxville, but pretty much anywhere. Sweat equity is the component of giving your time and investment to make you to be a successful homeowner in the end. And it consists of a lot of things. And it is the down payment, essentially, of what we require that is not money. Time, sometimes it's not as easy to come up with as much as money, but we want you to be committed to what it is we do. And that's what sweat equity is. In Knoxville, we require 500 hours of sweat equity for every home built. And that
can go by pretty quickly when you're building a house.
Well, a good chunk of it doesn't, that's all before we build the house.
Oh, my.
A good chunk of that is the budget class that we were talking about.
So all the classes, all the education.
Yes. We give sweat equity hours for good grades. We want the kids to be involved. So if they make A's on the report card, we give sweat equity hours.
I like that.
If they're part of a program, they go to a class at Lowe's and learn something at Lowe's or Home Depot, we'll give sweat equity hours for that.
Okay.
We also teach a kind of minor home repair, construction, how to hammer kind of thing class. They get sweat equity hours for those classes. There's a lot of things out there that essentially what you're getting is we're saying we value your time, and so we're going to give you so much time credit for that, and it goes towards essentially the down payment of your house. That's what sweat equity is.
And you get buy-in.
You do get buy-in, exactly. And so instead of going to the conventional mortgage way where you've got to come up with 10% or 20%, we're going to fund it. We also are the lender. So we're saying then is, okay, well, you've invested this much time, which equals this much money into the ministry, and so we feel you're a good candidate, and we're going to partner with you to build this house. Yeah. And then when the house is built and deeded back to the family, they'll start paying the mortgage payments back to us, and then it's just a continuous cycle.
Well, but the down payment is always, or most always, the barrier.
Exactly.
For someone to get a home.
Exactly. And when we are building for folks who would not ever qualify for a conventional mortgage.
Okay.
So they have to have enough income coming in to be able to make the monthly mortgage payments and to still live in life. So essentially what we look for is that their total income per month, 1/4 of that goes toward housing and utilities. If it's more than that, then they're not going to be set up to be successful.
Sure, but you work out the budget.
We work out the budget. We do all of that. So that's really what sweat equity is. What's been so great about as you watch families come in and be part of classes And it's really, the budget class becomes kind of a life class. They get to know each other. And so then families, somebody that's sitting in there they didn't know very well, they pick a lot. Well, they're going to be their neighbor and they'll pick that lot, and be next door to it. We've had families that have come in, and again, it's just life lessons. And who knows, if we don't teach them, where are they going to learn? We learn all the time in life. Yeah. But we had where we do receipt systems. And so you bring in your receipts and you put them in an envelope and they say, go collect your receipts. Well, we'd have families come in and they'd have hundreds of receipts. And we're like, seriously, you spent this much? No, you asked for receipts. So we started asking everybody for the receipts. It's on the ground. Exactly. So it's challenges, that are like that. But we've had families. We recently had one come in and she brought pictures to show of what she learned in her construction and minor home repair class. And so after the house was deeded to her and it was hers, she started making all these changes and she was so proud because she did it herself. She did the painting and she did some minor repairs in the kitchen and she changed some things around and she was so excited. And then she comes back and she wants to teach people how to do that. That's the,
so you brought her alive.
We did. We had a homeowner several years ago that came to us and actually she was a great success story for us. She was living in her car. Her house had actually burned down and she couldn't read or write. And through the Habitat program, not only did she own a home, which was the first she'd ever owned,
right,
she learned to read and write as well.
Through the program.
Through the program, and because we gave her the little seed to want to do that, to make her life better. She had never had debt, though, ever in her life. She'd been cleaning houses since she was 13. So she would come in and pay every week. She didn't pay. She was accustomed to being paid on Fridays, and she came in and made that payment on Fridays. So we just split it up. And it got to where she knew that she did not want to have debt anymore. So she worked even harder. And she paid that house off. And unfortunately, a year and a half later, she passed away from cancer.
Oh, goodness.
But the passion that was there to not have debt and to have something to pass on to her children and grandchildren, the sparkle in her eyes, she was just absolutely overwhelmed with that, as well as the life change of knowing how to, read and write.
Does the family still live there?
Actually, I think her daughter does still live in the home.
How about that?
The house is paid off. Once the house is paid off, we're no longer the mortgage holder. So unless they keep up with us, we don't know.
But the lifestyle and the life changes were passed down.
Absolutely.
Through the family.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Goodness, what a blessing. And I just see God all over this.
I think so. I mean, you can, we just recently was at a conference and the new tagline that they're kind of pushing and we've got new branding is, every hand makes a difference. And I told April, I said, every hand does make a difference in our work, but it starts with the hand of God.
Yeah.
And that, he truly watches over us and guides us.
Well, it's just seeing the magic, and I've been to a few ribbon cuttings, and I've been volunteered and just slung a hammer here and there, and there's magic there because in every instance I'd been involved, the homeowner was right there sweating with us, and the people who were there wanted to be there, and they weren't looking at their clock going, well, I got about 3 more hours. I'm going to take 2 breaks. I mean, no, they want to be there and they want to help, and they're excited about it. That is the great thing is whenever you go out and you see all these people that want to be there working. And, there's jubilation in everything we do, but there's also challenges, Tom. I mean, there's not magic. Magic doesn't happen all the time. I mean, I don't want to paint this rosy picture too. Because you got people trying to work together.
We're dealing with people here, and we're dealing with folks that, have been brought up in the American system, and there's things that we give away, and all of a sudden we're asking for changes, and there's some real heartache when we're not successful, and that does happen. It's sad.
It has to.
It's sad. Makes me have to color my hair, but But
it makes you try to work harder on the next one.
Well, it does. Sure. I mean, we have to focus on the successes there, but it's hard work, and we work hard, and we're asking the families to partner with us to work hard.
In a typical year, say last year, how many homes were built and the whole thing followed through?
Okay, well, I'm going to rephrase your question just a little bit because what we do is we serve families.
Okay.
And so where we do still traditionally build single family homes, We also started a program a year and a half ago where we do get some of the homes that we have purchased, that we built with families back for different reasons.
Sure.
Sometimes they move, sometimes it's an unfortunate situation and they lose their house, certain things. So we will take that house back. What we then do is we turn around and we rehab it. It's our own home that we have built.
Yeah.
It's a Habitat home that has been built by us. And we rehab it and we sell it to a veteran. And so that's a new program that we've started.
I love it.
Called Homes for Heroes. And it's a way for us to recycle the homes that we have, again, get them back in the system, and they're paying for them again. So actually, families served, we served 29 families. But that wasn't 29.
That's not the whole story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, I'm thank you for rephrasing my question, because that makes a whole bunch of sense. Kelle Schultz with us from Habitat for Humanity. She's president, CEO, and man, she is in the thick of it all the time. We're going to come back and talk with her a little more in just a minute. This is Dealing with Life. I'm Tom Baker, author of One Dog's Faith, a book that celebrates life and also deals with the crazy little things that dogs do and the possibility that they actually have more meaning than we think. It's about life, it's about trust, it's about worry through the eyes of a dog. This is Dealing with Life. We'll talk more in a minute.
Get up, get back on your feet. You're the one they can't beat, and you know it. Come on. You alone are the anchor when my sails are torn. Your love surrounds me in the eye of the storm.
This is Dealing with Life. I'm Tom Baker, author of One Dog's Faith, and we're really happy to have you along. If you're dealing with struggles and you're dealing with challenges and change, we pray that you find the hand of God in the midst of it. Today we're talking with Kelle Schultz, president, CEO of Habitat for Humanity, Knox County. And you've been there how long?
A couple of years.
A couple of years, 3 or 4, since 1994. That's awesome. And you have just taken that and helped it grow and grow and grow. And speaking of growing, I want to talk about growing a house.
Okay.
What is the process of Habitat's version of building a house?
Wow. That's a loaded question.
You have 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Oh, God. Okay, good. Actually, it's very interesting because when we have the boards out there talking about things, and several years ago I had a board member went, I had an aha moment, because Habitat really is, we are a construction company, we're a ministry, we are a fundraising entity, we're a land developer, and we're a social services agency. So we're all of that
That's
rolled
a
into.
lot of hats.
I know, isn't it? While we have, as we've talked about, the families that are working through their sweat equity and doing things, we also have folks over on the sideline that are out raising money, that are out talking to.
Yeah, this does cost money.
It does cost a little bit.
Yeah.
They're out talking to churches and businesses and organizations and individuals to help fund the home building. And we've also got folks out looking for land, because we have to purchase the land.
Okay.
We have to own it. And then once we have land purchased, we put it on a file. And once the homeowner gets to a certain amount of sweat equity hours that have been put in, they can start looking at that and select a lot.
Okay.
Then we hook them up essentially with a date. And so we're out looking for what we call a covenant partner. And a covenant partner is essentially someone who has agreed to build with us and will provide the funding. Right now it's $40,000 to build a home. That can be, somebody can provide all of that amount, or we can split it up,
right.
However we want to do
Right.
it.
I know a lot of churches, they just commit to so many houses a year.
Yes.
And they raise that money through golf tournaments or whatever.
Whatever. Yeah, we have about 6 or 7 churches in Knoxville that build with us every single year. So
Okay.
we're in their budget item.
Gotcha.
We also have businesses and so forth, but we ask for the $40,000, and that doesn't go to pay for all of the house, but it goes to pay for a significant part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And
sometimes they don't want to play for the land.
well, we pretty much subsidize for the land. So when
Okay.
we're out fundraising and you just send in your $10 or $25, a lot of time that's going towards the land part of it.
Okay.
If we pass that on to the families, the house wouldn't be affordable.
Sure.
But essentially what we're doing is we're out asking for donations of $40,000 to build the house. And what you get with that is also the opportunity to volunteer for the length of the time with the family one-on-one.
And you develop a relationship.
And you develop a
Yeah.
relationship with them. And then at the end, when the house is finished, we dedicate the house, which is just really a special time where we
Yes, I've
essentially
been to
take
those.
to where
Oh,
we say,
magic.
make a house and turn it into a home.
Right.
But as a covenant partner, what we're doing is we're asking you to make a commitment of time and money. And then we have some individuals that say, we'll give you money, but we don't have, a volunteer group. Well, that's fine because we've got a lot of folks who want to just come and volunteer with us, and we'll hook that up.
Yeah.
But it's really special when a covenant partner comes together and wants to volunteer
Well,
with
they kind
us.
of take ownership.
Well,
I'm
they
sure.
take ownership, and they also have a relationship with the family.
Yes.
And that's what's really,
And
really...
probably after the house is
Exactly.
finished.
It's just really special. We don't want it to be, paternal. We want it to be a growing relationship.
Yeah.
But we do have, companies. So we're all the time out there looking for people who want to be a covenant partner.
Gotcha.
And that's exciting. One of the stories I want to tell is we've had several economic downturns or people where they get fidgety about their income and what they're going to do. And the first thing usually that goes is their charitable giving.
Yeah.
We'll come back to you, but right now, I want to see what I've got and save it all up because it's a choice. It's not a requirement, it's a choice. So charitable giving goes quickly when there's any kind of turmoil. I want to tell about a fabulous instance with St. George Greek Orthodox Church.
The one that burned.
The one that burned. It was truly a testimony to me. I've never seen this happen before. But Father Anthony, who leads that church, is just an outstanding man. And here they had committed, they had signed the paperwork that they were going to sponsor a home with us
Before
the build, before the burn. Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
right.
And so we were working towards that. And the next thing you know, oh my gosh, there's a fire.
Yeah.
Well, immediately, because it's happened to us in the past, anytime that there's turmoil, we immediately think, okay, well,
that one's gone.
That one's gone.
Yeah.
And with grateful heart, they just are like stunned. So the first thing to go is their charitable giving.
Sure. And
you know
you
that-
can't blame them. No.
But that next day, it happened, I think the church burned on a Sunday night, Saturday or Sunday. In that first part of that next week, Father Anthony calls and he wants to come see us. And of course, we're thinking, oh, well, he's going to say,
it's not good.
Here he walks in with a $40,000 check.
You're not serious.
And he says, we got a loan to pay to start the repair work for the church. And we'd made a commitment to you. So we just lumped that into the loan.
Oh, my goodness.
Because of the tragedy that happened to us, it shouldn't be tragic for a family that we've already made a commitment to.
That's powerful. That's church.
Is that not... that just doesn't happen
No,
in
you
our
don't
world
expect that.
anymore.
No.
I mean, it just doesn't. And we were just overflowed. And then he goes on to say, as they built the house, the joy that came to the parishioners there who came out and worked, because it got their mind off of things and they saw success and they saw the joy they were bringing to this family. And it really was a healing moment for them as well. It was an investment.
Sure.
It was investment. And so many times in the past when something happens, we get the call, we can't do it. We're not,
Yeah.
we can't give
and
the
that's
money.
just part of the game, I'm sure.
It is. And it's sad. But, I love to talk about St. George and Father Anthony when I can, because that truly was God working.
Yeah.
It truly was him showing, yes, you can. Pull up your shirt sleeve. You can do it. And that's pretty outstanding.
Well, God asks us to help others and help serve people. Jesus came on this earth as a servant and showed us that's the way we should have our hearts. And I will say over and over again, and that's what a lot of what the book is about. Dogs are servants.
Mm-hmm.
They love others, especially their humans, more than they do themselves. And the best way out of a struggling situation, to not let it engulf you and not let it take your life over, is to help somebody else. And I'm sure you see that all the time.
We do.
You see volunteers just come at the end of the day and go, wow.
There's nothing better than if you go out on a site and it's just pouring rain and you look up and there's 30 people sitting there sopping wet with rain ponchos or whatever, and they're working.
And they're going. They're doing
And
it.
it's on a Saturday when they could have rolled over and said, well, I'm not doing that today,
Oh, man.
So the commitment is truly there. One one other I just have to mention, because as we talk about the churches, we also talk about businesses. Home Federal Bank has been a partner with us every year since before I started.
Is that right? That speaks a lot for
Every
them.
year. They are so vested in our community. And I think all of our companies, when we go out and work, because we have such a giving community and there's so much need and so many things they can get involved in. And when a company chooses Knoxville Habitat for Humanity to be part of that, of their giving, how joyful for us.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's
Because
really,
it stays here.
but it shows we're doing something right.
Oh, yeah.
And it shows that we have success, and it shows that people want to be vested with us, which is just truly very important. It's,
Well, it's
very
very
important.
proven what you do. There's no secret that it's really helping a lot of people.
It is helping people, but it's one family at a time. And we'll have folks go, that's a lot of money for one family. But when you look at it, we build one house, they pay it back, and as they're paying it back, we build more houses. So it's
but it's more
but it's
than
a
the
standing
house.
testimony. Yeah,
it's
exactly.
the life change.
It's a life change, exactly.
And you're showing that people who might not have any future or might not have any hope, they can totally change, and they can have a home. They can have a whole amount of responsibility that they never thought they could have.
We're also teaching people how to put on siding and maybe to do, how to put shingles on a roof. And they maybe not have never done that before. So
Yeah, and there's
we're
work in
maybe
that.
we're
There's
maybe
a lot of money
starting
in that.
we may be starting some other second businesses there. you
Yeah,
know.
absolutely.
Yeah.
How beautiful. How beautiful. Well, we're going to talk in a minute about how people can, one, donate, two, how they can be a volunteer, or we'll also talk about how people can get into the program.
Okay, great.
So this is Dealing with Life. Kelle Schultz is with us, President, CEO of Knoxville Habitat for Humanity. Dealing with Life airs every single week at this time. Also, if you want to hear a past episode, you can go to dealingwithlife.net, and all the archived episodes are there for you to listen to. I'm Tom Baker. This is Dealing with Life. We'll deal with more in just a minute.
I do believe I'm feeling stronger every day.
Whether by accident or whether on purpose, you've caught a show called Dealing with Life. Glad to have you along. I'm Tom Baker, author of One Dog's Faith, a book about life and worry through the eyes of a dog. It's available locally at Long's Drug Store. It's available at Young Williams, where the dog Mango, the book is about, was adopted. And it's also available at Farragut Pharmacy, Cedar Springs Christian Bookstore, and, of course, Amazon. And OneDogsFaith.com. Kelle Schultz is our special guest today. Kelle is CEO, president of Knox County Habitat for Humanity, and a program that has been around and been tremendously successful for a long time. You've been with them a long time. And what I want to talk about, we've talked about all the processes, but how do people get involved?
Well, we have several opportunities to get involved. I know we've talked about hammering it, and that's really what a lot of people see is folks coming out and raising a wall, and they're like, that's not for me. But we have a lot of other opportunities. As I talked earlier today about the education and training, if you are a teacher or have that ability to want to share knowledge or work one-on-one with someone, we're all the time looking for volunteers to work with our classes, with our homeowners and our homeowners' kids.
Because that's really important.
That's
a part of the process.
That's really the success measure for us.
Okay.
Of course, hammering is always there.
My uncle is he's been retired for a while, and he works 2 days a week with Habitat, and he's passionate about it. He will not miss those days. He loves it.
Is he here in Knoxville?
He is. Painting is his thing.
But that's a fabulous opportunity, is if you want to work with families. If you want to be in a leadership role, we're looking for folks who, want to work and serve on the board of directors. We're looking for folks who don't mind asking for something, being part of development. If you're passionate about what it is you're doing, you're asking on behalf of the organization, not on behalf of yourself. We have a Restore, which I mentioned earlier, which is kind of a quasi thrift store, but we also sell construction materials.
Downtown West.
It's in downtown West, exactly.
Yeah,
And
we go there often.
well,
Love that place.
Well, we have cabinets and, furniture and knickknacks and clothes and doors and windows and lighting fixtures and so forth. And we have volunteers that help us run that organization.
Sure. Yeah, we bought a bookcase. We've bought an
For the
entertainment
book.
center. Well, yes.
Yeah, for the book. Yeah,
yes.
that's important. Yeah.
It's tremendous.
Yeah, we get some really, really good stuff. And that's another thing. If you're wanting, spring's coming around and you're wanting to do some spring cleaning, or you're getting a new couch, or you're getting new appliances, think of us and give us a call. We do pickups. The one things we don't really do is garage sale after a garage sale's finished and we come to pick it up, just simply because so many people have garage sales. If you want to drop it off to us, we'll take
Sure,
it. But otherwise,
sure.
we don't do that. But we're looking really for donations of furniture, donations of appliances, building materials, clothing, things like that.
And obviously that money goes as donations to help the program.
Exactly, goes straight back into the ministry.
Now, for those who might be listening who want to be in the program to ultimately be a partner and have a house, what do they do?
Well, again, the 3 criteria is that there's a willingness to partner, that you have an ability to make the monthly mortgage payment, and that you have a need for housing. Those are the 3 criteria. Pretty broad-based, but the criteria. The easiest thing to do is to go to our website.
Okay.
That's KnoxvilleHabitatForHumanity.com, or you can always call our office and we'll send you a very short, simple questionnaire for you to fill out. And really what we're looking at first is really what your income is, because we want to make sure before we even go down the path with you that you're successful, that you have enough money coming in to be able to make a monthly mortgage payment.
Okay.
And then that you're willing to partner with us. So there's a little bit of it, we go and do a home visit and we talk to you and make sure that you really know what it is you're doing, because this is life-changing. But we're all the time looking for folks, as well as veterans. If there's a veteran out there, too, that is looking to own a home, again, we'd love for you to contact us, and let's talk to you about what that program is. We do a rent-to-own. We go ahead and let you move in the home for that first year, and you still
Okay.
do your classes and everything, because we still are about education and training, and then we will deed the home to you as well.
So many lives changed, improved, turned completely around.
Starting with me, my life. I mean, this organization changed me.
Wow. You have a smile that it's just awesome, and it's so uplifting. And I pray for you, and I pray for Habitat to just grow and grow and help more and more people. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, Tom. I appreciate it.
This is Dealing with Life. It's a show that airs every single week about struggle, about victory, about faith. I'm Tom Baker, author of One Dog's Faith, and we will talk again soon.
You speak